Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it is the day. Today is the day. It is the Royal Rumble. The road to WrestleMania officially begins at Chase Field in Phoenix, Arizona. And before we get to the Royal Rumble pay-per-view itself, it's time for another Unlimited Q&A here at the Unlimited Q&A, or excuse me, here at the Unlimited YouTube channel. And if you want your questions answered in a future Q&A video, go to any of our pages. They'll be in the description box down below and send them your way. I'll post a prompt asking for your questions, and I'll give you the theme if there is one. And then you just send them my way, send them our way. Whoever's doing this Q&A will answer them. Very simple. I didn't get a lot of questions, but I tried to make them Royal Rumble themed. So let's get started. Brian Collinari, the Twitter account WrestleVotes posted saying there's a big surprise coming and it's not Kenny Omega. What do you think this surprise will be? I'm really convinced that Kenny Omega's not going there. My guess is it would have to be a legend of some sort, and my guess is still John Cena. Even though that wouldn't really be a big surprise since he was technically already announced. But I think that this whole injury thing that they're working with, I still think Cena somehow gets into the Rumble match. I really, really do. So even though it might not be the biggest surprise, I'll probably say John Cena. Any chance of Becky Lynch entering the men's Rumble? And if so, what is her chance of winning? You would think she'd have to be in the men's Rumble. I mean, if you're going to go by the nickname The Man, then why do you need to be in the women's Royal Rumble? Just a thought. Francesco Bruno, Hacksaw won the first Royal Rumble. If the rules that apply today, winning the Rumble will grant you a shot at the world title at WrestleMania, do you think Hacksaw would beat the world champion in that era? No. I never really viewed Hacksaw as a world champion, or let me rephrase that. I never really viewed him as world champion material. I viewed him more as just a good dance partner. He was still popular during the day, or back in the day, and he's still popular today when he comes out. So, I didn't really view him as anything more than what he was, anything more than the role he had. So no, and let's be honest here. Are you really gonna put Hacksaw Jim Duggan in a world title match at WrestleMania when you have Hogan, when you have Savage, when you have Andre, when you have DiBiase, when you have even guys like Rick Rude? You're gonna put Hacksaw in there? Yeah, I don't think so. So if the rules of today applied back then, then chances are that Hacksaw wouldn't have won that Rumble. Plain and simple. Peyton Dale. If Bryan retains, who do you think gets set up as his Mania opponent? Well, I brought his name up already, and it always goes back to the Breakfast Club. So I'm going to go with John Cena. And that means that you would have to involve the Bellas in there somehow, and it can turn into a really good feud, or it can turn into a really childish, corny, this should be on Total Bellas type of feud. Hopefully it's a good feud, if it does happen, but we all know how that ends, people. Even in 2019, it always goes back to the same old you-know-what. Walter Main, who that never won a Rumble do you think should have? Oh, you can make an argument for several guys. You can make an argument for Randy Savage. You can make an argument for the Ultimate Warrior. You can make an argument for Rick Rude. You can make an argument for Chris Jericho. Looking in the past couple years, you can make arguments, especially in 2014, 2015, for Dean Ambrose. Even Seth Rollins. maybe Bret Hart winning outright instead of, being a co-winner. You could have done that too. But I think one guy that really deserved to win a Royal Rumble and should have won a Royal Rumble and would have worked perfectly as a Rumble winner is Mick Foley. Especially back in 1998, especially the late part of 98 going into 99. His character would have been perfectly suited to win that Rumble match and to go to WrestleMania. It was better than the crap that they wound up doing with him at WrestleMania 15. But yeah, I think he'd be perfect for a Rumble winner because it's such a natural story, especially how you were booking him at the time, how you were featuring him at the time. That he was getting over naturally with the crowd as being like this comedy guy, but still a guy that you can take seriously. So he'd be perfect for a Royal Rumble. So I would probably go with Mick Foley. But like I said, you can make an argument for so many people, and even the ones even some people that I haven't named, you can make arguments for. One of them's right behind me, Daniel Bryan. If you didn't do Batista in 2014, you could have had Bryan take his spot and win that. I mean, look at what happened anyway. He ultimately wound up in the title match. There you go. What is your favorite WWE World Heavyweight or Universal title match in Rumble history? One of my favorites, I don't know if it's my all-time favorite, but one of my favorites is Triple H Shawn Michaels. I believe it was the Last Man Standing match. Yeah, that match was gold. And pretty much anything that Triple H and Michaels did, even though it got a little excessive at some points, was gold. So, yeah, there we go. But if there's another one, it would have to be recent because I don't really remember a lot of the old time Rumble title matches. Again, I don't know if it's my favorite, but Cena Styles from 2 years ago. That was a match I really enjoyed. Could always say the triple threat at 2015, which was Brock, Rollins, and Cena. That's another one. Like I said, they have to be recent. Those are just a few. There you go. What would you say is the most underrated Rumble match? I'll go with 2007. The match itself wasn't the greatest thing ever, but when you got down to the final four, it's like, you can make an argument for any of those four guys winning the Rumble: Edge, Orton, Michaels, and Taker. And then when you eventually eliminated Edge and Orton, the battle between Michaels and Undertaker was epic. It felt like a huge deal because, Undertaker and Shawn Michaels, of course it's going to be a big deal. But that alone saves the whole match and makes it memorable for me. I'm not saying the match itself was bad, because it was enjoyable, it was entertaining. It wasn't the greatest thing ever, but I'll always remember it for the final four, and more specifically the final two, because that was just outstanding. Who would you say is Mr. Royal Rumble? I mean, you can say Stone Cold Steve Austin because he won 3. You can make an argument for Kane because I believe Kane has the most all-time eliminations combined. It would have been nice if he won 1, but I would have to probably go with Austin. Would you like the idea of co-winners with each guy/girl picking a title or going for the same title in a triple threat? If I had to do co-winners, and I really am not a fan of that, but if I had to do it, I'd probably prefer it if they split up, because sometimes what happens with triple threats is they get a little bit too cluttered, I guess you can say. I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of triple threats for titles or fatal four-ways for titles, because that kind of shows laziness on the WWE's part, which of course is why they would do it, because they are lazy. So yeah, I would probably have them pick a title and then go after it. It doesn't hurt. Either way, traditionally the runner-up gets the other title anyway, or gets the other title shot anyway, so it doesn't really make a difference. Do you like the idea of Rumble winners defending their title shot and possibly losing it? If it goes well with the story, then yes. If it's 2006 and it's Randy Orton and he has no business in that Rey Mysterio Kurt Angle feud for the world title, then hell no. There we go. Do you find the Rumble is the best way to debut a new person? I don't know if it's the best way, because typically what WWE would do with guys from NXT is they would bring them up just for the Rumble match, and then they would have them go back to NXT for a few months. That's not really a good way to debut if you're just going to send them down anyway. It could be one of them, especially if you're trying to build up a dominant face or dominant heel, and you have them come in and you have them eliminate a crap ton of people. That could instantly establish a new star. So, yeah, I mean, it is one of the better ways to debut a new person. I don't know if it's the best way, but it is a good way, and they should do more of that. And finally, do you think anyone will ever match Austin's 3 Rumble wins? I mentioned his name a few times in this Q&A video. Jonathan Felix Anthony Cena already has 2. Randy Orton already has 2. I wouldn't be surprised if one of them gets 3. Whether it be this Sunday or whether it be in the next couple of years, who knows? But thank you all for sending in Q&A questions. I know that wasn't a lot of questions, but it was enough to do a 11, 12-minute video. So thank you all. Enjoy the Rumble tonight. Matt from Unlimited. See you later.